Nord-Rennen. Good evening. Welcome to Sim Racing Nord. And the race today is taking place at Brands Hatch. It's a 60-minute race with a mandatory fuel stop. All drivers will have to pit and will have to take on fuel. So this could introduce a strategy. Do you go early? Do you go late and have a full car and run a light car, or whatever? I think there's going to be about 13 to 14 drivers on track today. I will appear as if I'm in the race. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I won't be on track racing. But to use race labs for my overlays, I have to be a competitor, otherwise I don't get to see all the fancy dials and timings. Now we are waiting for the server to switch over to qualification. We have 1.5 minutes left for free practice. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, it would do me a great favour if you could subscribe, even if it's just to say hello or to watch and support Sim Racing Nord guys. And if you do like what you see, obviously click on the thumbs up and give me a like. I am English, I don't speak German unfortunately, so you will have to put up with my dulcet English tones throughout this as I give the commentary. I will be giving you different camera angles, got various different overlays running, making all the data and information clear. I've also got some additional overlays that enhance the experience, reporting fastest lap when people are pitting and things like that. So what it tries to do is give you a lot of information, obviously within one screen. Doesn't mean I'll get it right perfectly, and my voice and volume levels may need adjusting, but hopefully we'll be good to go. We're coming to the end of practice. I am going to go across to the game and I'll go on board with someone just so you can see what we're talking about. So at this point we're on board with Klaus. A couple of these drivers I've raced with, and in fact I was racing with Uwe yesterday. I've raced with Uwe, I've raced with Klaus, I've raced with Martin, I've raced with Michael, and I have raced on the Sim Racing Nord server as well. So some of these other guys, the likes of Marcel, I have actually raced with as part of Sim Racing Nord. Hopefully we'll have a few more. In practice there was definitely a few more people. I think there was at least 14 people, and as you can see there, the server's now switched over to qualification. So what we'll do is we'll do a bit of a lap tour as somebody goes around and understand what the track is all about, what the corners are called, and from that perspective make you feel a bit at home, really, if I can obviously do that. So obviously there's two different layouts for Brands Hatch. There's the Indy track, which is the short version, and then there's the GP track, which obviously no longer supports Grand Prix, although it will do in certain other classes. It used to be a Formula 1 track, it's not now, and I don't think it ever will get that recognition again due to the way it's built and its safety features. But what we'll do is we'll jump on board with Christian. For Christian's second lap, he's in the Nissan. I've not seen someone in Nissan in a while. We'll do a tour of the lap and understand what the corners are going to be called. For those who race regularly on the likes of Brands Hatch, you will, and the other tracks in ACC, you will know what the corners are called. It just becomes part and parcel. Although I'm still trying to learn the Nordish Life ones, but I'll get there. All 77 of them, is it? Although I know they tend to be sections as opposed to corners. He's just coming to the final bit now before he heads back onto the straight. So now he's coming to start finish straight. So trying to find out where he is. The race is now going to take him into I think this is Hawthorns. And then we have a bit of a dingle dell up here. and the Sheen curve. And this will take us downhill into Stirling's. No, I'm in completely the wrong place there. Right, no, that's the Cooper Straight we're on now. There you go, I've got it. I was reading the diagram upside down. Quality or what? I'm just going to switch the map off as well, so just bear with me a second. I do have the map on the HUD, and I don't want the map on. Because obviously I've got my own track map. There you go, that's better. Now it's tying up to where he is on the map. I've lost my cursor. There you go. You can see there. And I don't like saying Marcel is now leading, because obviously he is, but it's not the race yet. So I'll just switch that one off for the moment. Oh, bit of a lag there. Not too sure whether that was me or him. So there we go, Paddock Hill Bend. And he's gone off. Alright, I was going to try and do what's name. We'll jump on board with Klaus. And we'll try again. The track picture I'm looking at Brands Hatch is actually wrong. Would you believe that? Right, let's try again. Okay, so yeah, Paddock Hill Bend, uphill, braking hard at the end into the hairpin. This is called Druids. This is better. I know where I am now. Downhill, bit of a double left-hander, but really the first one doesn't count. This takes us into what is Graham Hill Bend, and then this is the Cooper Straight. You'll be delaying your braking, trying to take a wide angle in, then a late apex onto Surtees and into Pilgrim's Drop. You'll notice it drops downhill at this point. Under the bridge, and then back up again to Hawthorne Hill, and then Hawthorne Bend, where you can take quite a good speed actually. And then we're on the Derrick Minter Straight into Westfield Bend, and this lovely bit called Dingle Dell. Like a double right-hander if you want, into Sheen Curve, which is turn 7. And then the left-hander, oh he's off track here, is going to be into Stirling's, turn 8. And then this takes us onto Clearways and into Clark Curve, the right-hander, onto the Brabham Straight, which is the start-finish straight. You see there Marcel's done a 123. I did see him do a 122 before, so from that perspective I think he's going to have pole. I wouldn't expect anything different, to be honest, with Marcel. He's quite a quick person. I'm going to see if I can get a few more drivers' names on the leaderboard. Bear with me a second. I can control the number of drivers, but sometimes it's a trade-off between how much you see. So we've got 12 drivers on track. I'm not going to be included, so I'm going to keep it to 11. That should help a little bit. Let's jump on board with Thomas. So Thomas is in the screaming Audi. He has got a valid lap in, a 126. House is second with a 124, so a respectable time. I would expect 124s, and there you go, Martin. Sorry, he's done a 124, Martin Bailey. 124.777. The drivers are starting to put the laps in now, get themselves going. .12 minutes to go in quali. Bit of oversteer, understeer, then oversteer, trying to fight it. Nice slide, and he's going to be off here. Going to ruin his lap. Let's go on board with Michael. Michael's usually fast. His best is a 1:23. I think it was an invalid lap. We've got his down as a 1:24.2. No, 1:24 flat, sorry. Yeah, 1:24 flat. Looks like he's eased off a little bit. Sounds broken. It's not working very well, that is it? Let's pick someone else. Unless he's setting himself up for the next lap. Let's see if that's what he's doing. If he comes out of this corner fast, he's setting himself up for the next lap. No? Yes, that's what he's doing. Obviously getting his tyres all sorted, and he doesn't want to burn them and hurt them because he's been pushing them. Let's see where he goes. On board with Michael. Obviously, I'll get more coverage from me when the race actually starts. At this moment in time, just watching them run a bit quali. There's a lot of them to keep an eye on as well, so it becomes a little bit more difficult to keep track of them all. Okay. I think would be good to go now. Would be if PC was behaving. I think that's all right now. Yeah. Technical problems, you know. I'm gonna pop up the chat just in case anyone wants to chat. If you are watching, just give us a hello and I'll give you a shout out. Obviously, you'll be supporting your favourite driver. Maybe a relative, a friend. So it looks like the race is going to take in place with 11 drivers. So one of the downsides to Brands Hatch is it's a very, very difficult track to overtake on. And what you'll probably find is that a couple of drivers will be bumper to bumper. Certainly in the fast sections. As I said, I still expect one or two drivers to pull away a little bit, Marcel being one of them. Got 9 minutes to go. Hello, Mr. Cooley. Wave hand back. Those mix of cars this time. The last race I did, there just tended to be a couple of cars. And I do know some drivers are away on holiday as well. I was informed of that yesterday. But, so we have McLaren is obviously the most favourite car there, with basically 5 of the drivers picking the McLaren. We've got one BMW and we have 2 Ferraris. Now I think if Marco is racing, he'd probably in the Ferrari. And we have 1 Nissan, 1 Lamborghini and 1 Audi. Now if Benjamin was racing, Benjamin would probably be in the Mustang. But other than that, I think it's very dominated for the McLarens here. So let's go on board with someone else. Let's see how the Nissan, the Lamborghini's running of Nils. So there are 2 Nils. There's Nils Julian Lorenz and Nils Lorenz. One's in the McLaren, one's in the Lamborghini. I don't know how to separate them, so I'll probably refer to them with Nils in the McLaren, Nils in the Lamborghini, just to try and keep it simple like that. We actually had the Lamborghini yesterday as a fixed car around the Nordschleife for an hour. I must say it was a very, very nice car to drive, very stable with the right setup. Just suffered a lot when the tyres went compared to other cars driven on there. So if they're not changing tyres, the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes is going to be really interesting to see how the Lamborghini manages its tyres. Because as I said, after a couple of laps of the Nordschleife, you could really feel the tyres starting to go a little bit. So he's managed a 1:26 for his fastest lap. And we still have Marcel on pole. Klaus is currently second. Michael third. And then the first two on the grids will be Uwe, so they're the first two rows, and then I think it's a free-for-all beyond that as qualification comes through. The tyre grips get better with rubbering in. 5 minutes to go, and a bit wide there. You might just get away with it though. It's struggling getting turning in, isn't it, on certain corners. There's a white flag there. Marcel hasn't bettered his lap time, or I haven't seen it come up. He's still done a 1:23.1. Klaus has got quicker, he's a 1:23.7 now. Gone very deep there. Let's jump on board with the Nissan. So the Nissan was one of the early cars in ACC. It doesn't get used much these days. I've seen a couple of drivers drive it, majority of which can't seem to get the performance out of it anymore. I think in all the updates it's been left behind a little bit, but occasionally you do see it in some of the esports races, and it runs really, really well. So I presume you've got to have a certain style of driving with a certain setup to get the best out of this car. I did try and drive it early on, and I just couldn't make ends meet with it. Let's jump on board with Martin. So Martin's just come around the beginning here. So Martin's best lap at the moment is the 1:24.7, which was his last lap. Interesting to see if he can improve on that. It's all about getting the corners, and Marcel's got into the 1:22s now with a 1:22.9. Great lap there. I did say earlier that I did see Marcel get into the 1:22s, so he's just confirmed that. I don't think we'll see anybody getting into the 1:22s other than Marcel at this point. Really thrashing the gears there to get the car to rotate by the looks of it. But, just waited on the power there a little bit. You could feel it, you could hear it drop a little bit, and then he put the power on. It's a good exit. He doesn't hit the grass. I'm not too sure on his lap time here whether it's going to be a faster lap. I'd guess not, and it wasn't. It was a 1:25.1, so 4/10 off. We've got 2 minutes to go. Let's just sit on board with him again to see if he can go any faster. Again, seems to struggle getting the power down there coming out the corner. He is running high TC though of 6, so that'll be labouring it a little bit coming out the corners as well. That seemed a relatively decent exit there. That's a really good corner there. He's took that at a good speed. And cut this corner as much as you can within track limits. Drift wide a bit, spot on. So far so good. And again, you try to steal as much of this corner as possible to carry speed through. Bit tentative there, but that did look like it was taken better than before. And again, he's waited to get the power on. He's not letting the car rotate fully at that point. It could be a little bit quicker, this. It could be much quicker, but is it going to be? No, it's not. It's not going to be quicker at all. 1:25.4. Let's jump on board with Uwe. So Uwe's fastest lap is a 1:24.1. And his last lap was an out lap. So his tyres should be up to temperature now. And should allow him to push. And again, he's in a McLaren, and you can see in front of him he's chasing a Ferrari down. I think that Ferrari is either Martin or Michael. I think it's Martin, actually. Got less than a minute to go before we go to the race. Now, at the start of the race, I will have to escape to the pits, but I will then jump straight to the grid. When you're in the car, it looks like they're stealing so much of the corner, and yet when you see outside, sometimes they're barely touching the end. You can see Martin went off there. So I have no idea how this is looking for Uwe. I will be changing the angles during the race. Oh, he just kept that in then. If he'd have got the grass, then that would have took him off. He's really pushing here. And that was a 1:24.4, so he hasn't gone any faster. So that is qualification over. This is that. Oh, I'm not too sure whether that's track limits or not. There's a wait time of 5 minutes. And you can see Christian's just going into the pits now in the San, which is to be expected as the qualification stage is over. Well, going to be interesting, this one. It really is going to be down to how Klaus and Michael race and Uwe. I think first it's going to be Marcel, unless he has a disaster and totals his car. Highly unlikely. And then I think second could be any of Klaus, Michael and Uwe. Oh, he's drifting around there. Nicely done. And the pit stop is going to come into it. But I think I saw it say it was a fixed pit stop. So what that means is no matter how much fuel you put in, it's 25 seconds. So that could still influence the outcome of the race. But I guess we'll see, and that's it. It looks like the drivers are now going to ready themselves to the pits for the start of the race. Right, so as I said, I'll have to wait till the race begins and then put myself to the pits. There's nothing I can do until that happens, unfortunately. It is what it is. I just have to live with it. So we've still got 3 minutes to go. I'd say talk amongst ourselves, but as I'm the only one talking, it's quite difficult. But what I will do is I'll go to the first car, Marcel, and do a bit of a, I'm not going to say grid walk because I can't, unfortunately. I can't control the camera until I can click drive, so I can't really do a grid walk. In pole position we have Marcel in the McLaren. Position 2 we have Klaus in the BMW M4, that's the black car. Third place we have Michael, who's in the Sim Racing Nord liveried Ferrari 296. And then in fourth place we have Uwe in the black and gold McLaren. Then we have Nils Julian Lorenz, who's in the red McLaren. Then we have Roland Sia, I think that's pronounced. Again, I'm not sure. My apologies if I get the names wrong. In the green and grey McLaren. Then we have Martin Bailey in the Bailey's livery Ferrari. Christian Schute in the McLaren 720S, black and different shade of gold. Nils Lorenz in the Lamborghini Huracan, that is black. Thomas Debogorski Weber in the Audi R8, looks like it's black, grey with a yellow tint. And Christian Stauer, who's in the Nissan, looks like a dark colour black, grey Nissan at the back. And as I said, from my perspective, I won't be racing. I'm the one in the Mustang. Thank you, Marius. Much appreciated. Nice of you to chat as well. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, if you've not had much sleep today, it can take it out of you. It's a fun track. It is a fun track. But maybe next week. I will be streaming again next week. Hopefully you can make it then. Right, so I'm going to click drive at this point, and what it'll do, it'll teleport me to the pits. So that's fine. I'm happy for that. As I said, it's just to get the low overlays. And if there's anything that's missing on the screen you think would be helpful, let me know and I'll see if either the overlays do it or I can develop it. So some of the overlays you're going to see are from my own software. So I've got my own software in the background that lets me change the angles of the camera and stuff like that. So consequently, I've got my own timing board on with other information. The pit stop, the fastest lap and all that is all controlled basically by my software. The overlays you see on screen at present are using Race Labs. It will teleport me in a minute, I'm hoping. May flick me back. But obviously I'm not going to move anywhere, and it will say you're going to be teleported. I don't have a problem in that. That's the point of what I'm trying to do here, so you can enjoy the race. If I disconnect, we'll lose some of the information on the screen, which is not what I prefer. I do like the overlays and I do like them being there. There you go. I'm all sat on my lonesome. I can't even go to the garage, so I'm hoping it's going to pit me. I am really hoping it's going to pit me. Here you go. It's pitted me to the what's name now, so that's fine. So we've obviously got a bit of a warm-up lap. Race hasn't started. Someone shot off forward there in a BMW. That's going to be Klaus. And he'll let Marcel come back. And then it'll be all getting themselves in position. And then it'll be lights out and away we go. Or from a Brands Hatch perspective, lights on and away we go. The tyres warm. A couple of drivers doing a bit of a wiggle there. Again, another nice livery there. Sim Racing Nord livery of Marcel. It may be that Klaus has got a livery and I've just not downloaded it looking at Klaus's car. I have tried to keep track of the liveries that the drivers are using. If I'm not notified of a new livery, though, I can't include it. It may be that Klaus hasn't driven the BMW and therefore he hasn't yet given us the livery. But when I get the livery, I will put it on, and next time, you will see the relevant liveries for the cars. Coming up now, I will go to Helicam because there's a possibility we might have turn 1 chaos. I will say the last few times I've watched these guys, there was a few incidents, but nothing major. The new zip came last week. No, I haven't, Marius. I will make sure I download that and acquire it for the next week. To be honest, I'm not too sure where things are and when they're updated. I don't get notifications, but I know there's a channel in Discord, so I will find that channel and I will get it. And here we go. Well, McLaren's at the back are getting a little bit close. It looks like everyone's going to get round. A couple of cars squiggling there a little bit. One of the McLaren's going wide. We're getting into T2. No one's braking late. Everyone's getting round. The McLaren's going very, very close again. One on the grass. Other than that, they do seem to be getting through. Yeah, and it looks like it's they're starting to go now, which is good. So let's change the views a little bit and watch what's going on. So there's a bit of a close battle there with Martin Bailey, who's chasing down Christian. The cameras, I can't control where they are on the track at any point in time. But you can see everyone will be close initially, and then the field will start drifting apart a little bit. And what we'll find is as the tyres warm up, the speeds will increase, the traction will increase, and we'll see drivers just pushing that little bit more. While the tyres are cold though, you know, there's a possibility we might see cars going off track. You've got four McLarens running line astern there. You'd expect, because they're all the same car, the performance would be very similar. Marcel getting the fastest laps, no surprise. Disappearing into the sunset. We are on board with Nils Julian in the McLaren. And that's a nice livery with the number on the back of it. Orange and red tinted. Oh, McLaren behind, getting a bit loose there. That's the McLaren of Christian. So has that put Martin on his tail? It has indeed, but Martin's also gone wide there. That might be, and still going off is Christian. So we might see our first overtake here. Martin going up the inside, and he's made that pass as a result of Christian going on the grass there. So it looks like Martin's made a pass there. And off we go. So again, we've got a bit of a close battle here with Thomas and Nils. You can see there. Oh, the Audi getting a bit sideways there by the looks of it. He's really giving it a go. He's took the Lamborghini took that corner really well then. Pulling away a little bit there. I don't know if that little wiggle just upset Thomas a little bit there as he come round the corner. Looks like he put the power down. Marcel's now just proving really how quick he is with it, with that lap time of a 1:23. And I think we've also got a chase going on behind here as well. So we've got the Lamborghini chasing Christian. Now he probably went off before because his tyres weren't yet settled, so hopefully his grip's going to be a bit better. Getting a little bit wide, but all three drivers went wide there. The Lamborghini's now starting to put pressure on that McLaren. Taking a tighter angle. Is he going to get the run? Not at the moment. It would have to be a last-ditched effort at the end, but he's not going to carry the momentum up that hill. He's still going for the inside though, but you'll naturally drift left here, so you know you're looking at a collision there potentially. So it was good to back out. And the other battle is, I think, Michael and Uwe. It's not that close, but you can see there that them two cars, actually it's Uwe and Roland, are close as well. But this is the closest battle as Marcel goes faster. It looks like the Lamborghini isn't holding pace at the moment. It's in situ, but it isn't gaining. So it looks like now that Christian has managed to sort the grip out. Although he's gone a little bit wide there and a bit of oversteer. Puts the Lamborghini again. The Lamborghini looks like he's going for an angle down the inside here. Good traction out. Going wide. And it looks like the Lamborghini's going to get a run here. Is he going to go up the inside? Not yet. Christian takes a wider angle but cuts it off. Gets the power down quicker and manages to pull away. So again, he's put a bit of a gap now between himself and the Lamborghini for the sector coming up. I think they're all right. Right, I'm going to jump back to the front again, because we've now got a bit of a battle going on with Uwe and Roland. McLaren on McLaren. This will be down to setup and driver. Uwe there just taking a slight tight angle into the corner. And that one's just gone a little bit wide at the back there of Roland. And they have now started to pull away from Nils behind as well. It's a bit of a twitch there from Roland as he tried to get the power on with the curb. Just give him a bit of a twitch. And the same twitch there as well. It is going to allow Uwe just to pull away a touch at this point. Uwe just hitting the curb there a little bit. And they are chasing down Michael in the Ferrari. I'm just looking at the gap to see if the gap's coming down any. It's coming down ever so slightly, so it does look like they are starting to put pressure on Michael. 2/10 out of him in a couple of corners. And now he's pulling away a little bit, so there's obviously areas where the Ferrari's got a bit more grunt. Yeah, the Ferrari's obviously quick through this sector because he pulls away a little bit. And as we come into the corners again, it looks like the McLaren's better at braking and got better turning. Yeah, that little bit of a gap disappears, and then coming out, Michael gets the power on really well and the gap increases again. So there's definitely a bit of toing and froing going on there between the cars. I've no idea when people are going to pit for fuel. I would imagine probably around the 30-minute mark. But I suppose you could overfill, run longer. Which means you, I would say you splash and dash, but if it's a fixed 25 seconds, it doesn't really matter whether you're putting a little bit of fuel in or a lot, really. If you think about it like that, you could have started the race with virtually no fuel, been very quick and then filled up. Reality being then that you could make a lot of ground because, okay, you'll be on more fuel, but you'll have managed to pull away and get yourself in a good position. And with it being a difficult track to pass on, you could have put yourself in a very strong position. So we'll see if anybody actually does that, if anybody pits early. That'll be because they're running low fuel, knowing full well that's going to work to their advantage. Everyone's spread out already, believe it or not. Now let's jump to the front. Go on board with go with Marcel. So he's running in the 123s. So he's going to be pulling away an average a second a lap. Half a second a lap, sorry, from the other drivers. We may end up with a good part of his pit stop for some of the back drivers covered. It just makes it so easy when you watch him drive it. Really, really easy. Car never seems to twitch. And yet his speed's phenomenal. And you look at it, it's not even using all the track as well. It's keeping it well within track limits there. A bit of a slide. He's on the grass. That can work against you, that, but he's going to get away with it because there's no one threatening him. Second place, we have Klaus, who's managing to keep going in the BMW. He's put a good gap between him and Michael now. Gap of nearly 3 seconds, I think it is. I jinxed it. Thanks, Marius. Yeah, saying he's keeping it on track and then goes wide. So, Klaus has got the BMW running really well. I will say, though, the BMW is one of these cars that just seems to work on most tracks. So if you've got a good setup and you're a quick driver like Klaus, you'll get the best out of that car. Certainly at the likes of Brands Hatch. And again, this does grip really, really well. It will come across a bit more stable than, say, the McLaren as well. It's a heavy. It looks like it's a heavier car. It's got more bulk to it compared to the McLaren. In third place, we have Michael. Oh, it's not a Sim Racing Nord livery. It's an AMD livery. So that gap behind has come down. So no, it's fluctuating. As I said, it's there's parts where the Ferrari's quicker, and there's parts where the McLaren's quicker. Well, he wants to try and keep off the sand because that will cost him time. That will slow the car down hitting the sand as he comes out of there. Behind him then we've got Uwe in the black and gold McLaren. He's still got a bit of a battle on his hand with Roland, but he has made the gap now quite stable between them. And they have pulled away from Nils in the red McLaren, as we'll find out in a minute. You just got to try and stay off the grass, because it will put a bit of a slide on the car. You don't want dirty wheels as well. You can see there in actual fact that I think Roland has caught up ever so slightly, because Roland line was a bit better through that corner. Yeah, it's looking a bit more like Roland's got a bit more pace here. This battle is far from over. We'll sit and concentrate with Roland's car at the moment. As we see, he is gaining on Uwe here. Definitely getting quicker. Definitely catching. We go to the rear wing of Uwe's car now. We'll see it quite clearly that he's gaining. Thing is as well, when you get the pressure like that, it encourages the driver in front to push a little bit further, and that's where you can start then losing time. It's like you want to go faster but you end up going slower. It's really, really bizarre. Really, you should just carry on racing yourself rather than racing the car in your mirror. What you tend to find is you get a bit of pressure on, you might make 1 or 2 little mistakes and get away with it, and then after a couple of laps you settle back down again. So this gap is very, very close, but as I've said, this is a very difficult track to pass on. So he's not going to run out the corners and make a pass. You know, you're looking for a mistake or getting a good drive out of a corner so you can put your nose into a corner and things like that. There's not much more headways being made there. But as they're fighting now, this is allowing Michael to pull away. So Michael's now put a gap of 2 seconds in front of them. So this is going to start costing these two time as they fight with each other. At this point, Roland does look like he's the quicker driver. But catching's one thing, passing's another, as we all know. Is he going for a move? Is he putting his nose up the inside? It's a bit too far away to go for that. Sensible driving there. I do know some drivers who would actually go for that move, believe it or not. And then chaos would ensue. And they claim they had the overlap by a headlight, something like that. This is definitely close now, definitely close. I will carry on down the grid. I don't really want to miss this out as an opportunity. I will jump to Nils, and I'll keep an eye on the gap on that one. And if I need to switch back, I will switch back. If there is a pass, I will do a replay, so you do get to see it as well. So Nils is literally in the ground by himself. There's a big gap in front of him, and the gap behind him is quite tasty as well. So he's racing himself at the moment. You can see there we had Martin in the Ferrari behind it. Again, Martin's got a gap behind him as well from him and Nils. Nils in the Lamborghini has really dropped back. So again, Martin's just moving along nicely, and that's causing a gap to occur. Up to the Lamborghini, Nils. And again, there's no race going on here. Nils is pretty much by himself. You can see the gap in front of him, probably, and you can see there's a car just coming behind him. Right, I'm jumping back because it's got very, very close now. I will jump back to Thomas in a second. Just let's see what happens. But Roland did get within 3/10, and 3/10 is enough to be within the draft and get something out of the car. But obviously this track's not got any straights on it. But you just don't know whether, you know, you miss a gear coming out of a corner, you put a tyre on the grass. It does look, and you can see it a little bit, that the front McLaren's having to work the corners more. If you see the difference in the angles the car takes into the corner, the front McLaren seems to have to take the corners sharper, whereas the back one seems to be taking them a bit neater now. Obviously that was a mistake there, the way he's put the power on. Again, I'm jinxing it. Commentator curse and all that. The gap's broken up a little bit now, so I'll go back to Thomas. Thomas in the Audi. He2 has got no one he's racing with at the moment. There's a healthy gap in front and an even healthier gap behind. But the pit stops will play a part in this, that I'm pretty sure. What we don't want to do is get drivers getting drive-throughs and ruining the race. And then Christian. He's white down. In fact, I think we'll get Marcel will probably be passing Christian in another 7-8 laps. I think we might start seeing passes going on as some of the back markers start getting passed. And then we've got another Christian here, Stowart in the Nissan, who's sitting at the back. Got a bit of damage on the front of that car, which makes me think he may have hit a barrier. His lap times are in the 1:28, so that does imply he's struggling with pace a little bit. And again, I don't think I've got a livery for that one, so I do think I probably need to get my hands on a zip file. Right, let's get back to the action, where the momentum is. So we're on board here with Roland. He's chasing down Uwe. Whoa! Big drift. That could have ended disastrously. He held that really well. Well done, Roland. Great timing catching that one. See the car literally sideways. 40 minutes to go, and I'd be surprised if he's killed the tyres already. Could be wrong. Yeah, Mark, he held that really well, to be fair. I thought he was going to visit our old friend Barry. Michael's nearly 3 seconds up the road now. Changing gear early to stop the wheel spinning. I think before he got a twitch coming out of that corner, probably because he was in a lower gear, higher gear. And there we go, we can see Uwe's pushed too much. He's gone off a little bit. His tyres will be a little dirty. Is this Roland's opportunity? And there's another car got off in front. That's Michael. Michael looks like he's hit the grass as well. Are all the tyres starting to go off this quick? What? 22 minutes into the race and we've got tyres going off. It's going to make it interesting at the end, isn't it? There you go, pit stop. That tells me I reckon the tyres are struggling here. The Roland's the first one to take that stop. And he will now jump down. He will now go down the leaderboard as other drivers pass him. Be interesting to see whether he wants to do the 30 seconds and add on 5 seconds for new tyres. We'll find out how long he's in the pits for. So been at the moment 33 seconds. We'll just see how long he is in the pits for. Coming out yet? Oh, he's not. Where's Christian coming round? So Christian looks like Christian's going to get him as well. And we've got the car moving now. Yeah, so Christian's got him. Hasn't got a penalty, so that's good going there. And yeah, he's done his pit stop. And his pit stop was a 1:07. Got that recorded as. Quite a decent pit stop that. We don't know how that's going to look in relation to the others. If all the other drivers are doing a 1:02, it implies they haven't changed tyres. So that's going to be the guiding point here about changing of the tyres. So Roland's now going to come out, and it'll be interesting to see what Uwe does. Whether Uwe decides he needs to come in the pits to keep that at bay. We shall see. I mean, I can see there Uwe's obviously stayed out. He's got no problems. I'm going to keep an eye on the times between Uwe and Roland from a lap time perspective, just to see if the pit stop has improved the performance of Roland's car. We're up at the front here with Marcel. He's quite a good gap clear now. He's 17 seconds clear, 15 seconds clear of the next car, which is Klaus. If he keeps going, he's nearly going to get a pit stop. We have another car in the pits. It's Christian who's pitting. So let's see how long Christian, and he's just been passed by the Nissan. I have Christian Stour. So the one Christian's gone into the pits, and we'll see how long his pit stop is going to be and how it compares to Roland's pit stop. He's been in 40 seconds at the moment. So I reckon he's going to be in another 20 seconds and then he's going to be coming out. I will jump to it in a second just so we can see how long he's going to come out. Right, so this will give. So he's not changed tyres. I think Roland has changed tyres. Oh no. 108, 109. Sorry, my apologies. It just looked like he was in the pits a lot less time, but as you can see from that, he was actually slower in the pits anyway. Pit entry and pit exit. Let's go to Klaus. We'll start seeing some of the front runners going into the pit soon. I'm quite confident with as well. Hi Helmet. I believe you're on holiday. Hope you're having a good time. Again, though, at the moment the front runners are staying out. So let's see how Roland's doing. So Roland's last lap was a 1:24.9. Uwe's last lap was a 1:25.1. So 2/10. Now that gap was half a second. So another couple of laps, and Roland may jump Uwe as a result of the pit stop. So it may have been a good move for Roland pitting quite early on. So Uwe's last lap was a 1:25.5. See what Roland's lap's going to be. Because if he's took another 3/10 out, I think Roland may well get him on the pit stop. Where this lap time is going to be really important. Uwe's last was a 1:25.5. Roland's was a 1:24.4. In fact, that's Roland's fastest lap. So I think it's pretty clear from that the next pit stop that Uwe makes, Roland I think is going to jump him in the pits. Michael's pitting. So we're going to see Uwe pass. There we go. So Uwe's made the move. And we'll see Nils will also pass him as well. I don't think Michael's going to lose any time, to be honest, though. Simply being because he was so far ahead of Uwe. So I think he's going to survive that and come out probably still in the same gap. We'll see what his pit stop returns as well, whether he's going to be in the 107s or whether they're going for the tyres as well. As I said, some of the cars did look like the tyres were starting to go off a little bit. But yeah, the thing is, Marius, you don't know whether he'd actually rattled it into the pits and then hit the brakes late on. But you're right, it did look like a very slow entrance into the pit. I think Roland might just be a couple of tenths off. He'd need to put in a good lap time. I don't know why it's telling us Marcel's leading there because he hasn't pitted yet. So what we'll do is we'll go to... Where's Michael? And his lap time was a 1:05. So Michael's took 2 seconds off Roland anyway. So he's net gained on that pit stop regardless of how fast Roland's running. So I don't think Roland's going to come out ahead of him. Going to be that close to him. And in fact, you can see Marcel's now passing. Right, important point though. Uwe's now pitting as well. So Uwe's coming into the pits. Are we going to see Roland pass Uwe? So there goes Nils. We'll have Martin next. There goes Martin. Then we'll have Nils. Lamborghini. It's a good point, that, Marius, actually. Ferrari pit crew. To be honest, he probably pulled him in at the wrong time. Or put wets on. So this is the important bit here. Hi, Chris. Welcome. So it looks like Roland's going to get Uwe. There you go. He's made it. He's passed Uwe at this point. So that That was a 105 by Uwe, so it was a very good pit stop, but it wasn't enough. And Klaus is pitting now as well. So again, he looks like he's going in slow, but we'll see what happens in relation to that. But Marcel still hasn't pitted, and he's disappearing up the field here, so he might end up with a free pit stop at this rate. I will say, Roland's keeping up with him, all things considered. He's not pulling away from Roland at that point. And we've got Martin pitting now as well. Again, look like Michael, that's looked like a slow pit entry, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. And Nils is also pitting as well. So it looks like everybody, with the exception of Thomas and Marcel, are pitting now. So yeah, all cars are now currently in the pits. So we've got the Nissan. We've got I'm trying to work out who's in. Nils. We've got the other Nils. We've got Martin Bailey. Where's he gone? Sorry. Well, it's Martin Bailey. And they're all starting to come out now as well. So Klaus did a 104. An exceptional time, as did Nils. So two drivers who have come out the pits really quick. Martin's coming out now. He's done a 109. And Christian's done a 128, which makes me think he's changed tyres with that lap pit stop time. So all drivers now, apart from Marcel and Thomas, have pitted. I would expect the likes of Thomas to start probably considering pitting now. Or Marcel. One of them will probably pit very shortly. Marcel's got a free ride here, to be honest. He could just jump in the pits for fun, get out, have a cup of coffee, get back in and then carry on. And there you go. You can see Thomas is pitting. And then we've only got Marcel left, who just carried on his journey. And you can still see Roland's keeping up with him. This is helping Roland. And there goes Marcel. Marcel's the final driver to pit. And at the moment, the fastest pit stop is held between Klaus and Nils, both with a 104. So yeah, some good pit stop times there in comparison to other drivers. Now, there's no battles on track at the moment. So what I'm going to do is jump on board with Uwe, because Uwe was in front of Roland and is now behind, and you can see just how far ahead Roland is. For the last couple of laps, Uwe's was a 125 and Roland's was a 124. So it's nearly 7 seconds quicker, 7/10 of a second quicker Roland that last lap. So it may be that Uwe's still trying to find his tyres. But yeah, it's looking good. Michael's done a 124.1. So he's getting a move on now. He's actually the fastest person on track as we speak. And Marcel is coming out the pits, and he did also a 104. So that looked like that was the go-to time for lap times in the pits. And all drivers have now pitted and hopefully fulfilled the criteria. Roland has made a net gain of 2 places. The highest person to gain. Uwe has lost 1 place. Nils has lost 1 place. Nils, number 2, has gained 1 place, and Thomas has gained 1 place. So there's a few drivers who are actually better off than where they were. But the biggest gainer at the moment is Roland, and as I said, that pit stop and getting in front of Uwe was critical, and he's managed to do it. So it's give Roland a really good position here. Now we're going to have a battle coming up in a minute. As you can see here from the rear view, Michael has caught up to Klaus. Now that's the closest I've seen them all race. I did say Michael's lap times were going pretty well. Klaus's last lap was at 125 and Michael's was a 124, nearly a second quicker. So I think this is where the battle is going to end up. And I think that Klaus there is passing a back marker. So we're going to see Klaus pass a back marker at this point. Yeah, it's Christian. So he's just passed Christian. Now they are starting to catch some back markers up. So I think within about 7 laps they'll be on the back of Thomas. Insight sponsored by me rather than AWS. So that last lap was a 124.3 and Michael was a 124.5. So Klaus has obviously got his tyres running again now. Let's have a quick rundown after the pit stops. In first place, we have Marcel. He's just making this look really easy. He's got a gap in front of him to the next car of nearly 20 seconds. Behind that we have Klaus in the BMW. I did say early on that this race was going to be between 3 drivers. At the moment I've got one of the drivers wrong. I did have Klaus and Michael in there, but I also had Uwe because Uwe was looking quick, although Roland has stole that crown a little bit at the moment. Third place we've got Michael. Michael is just a couple of seconds behind Klaus. That gap is starting to increase though, so Klaus is now starting to flex his muscles in that BMW a little bit. And that will be the podium. Third place, we've got Roland. Made some great gains with his pit stop, pumping in some really good lap times. His last lap was a 125.5, but Uwe's was a 124.5. So Uwe was a second faster the last lap. Speaking of Uwe, there he is. So are we starting to see the tyres coming into play after the pit stop? They all seem to be waiting a couple of laps before the tyres kick in. As we said there, Uwe's made a second gain. So we're going to keep an eye on that a little bit, because the gap is 1.8 seconds. Let's see where it is at the end of this lap and how the lap times are for them drivers. Then we've got Julian, Nils Julian, sorry, in the McLaren. He's again, he's 12 seconds ahead and behind, and Marcel's banged in a 123.0. It's a quick lap time. Martin, obviously his fuel's coming down as well, although I know he's done a pit stop, but his fuel will be coming down. Martin Bailey, again, he's out on his own at the moment. The gap in front and behind is also 12 seconds, so he's racing his own race. Nils in the Lambo. He's 12 seconds behind Martin and 10 seconds ahead of Thomas behind him. Thomas in the Audi. He's got a gap of 30 seconds to the next car behind him. So at this moment in time, his gap is looking good. And I did say within a few laps, we're going to start seeing them catch Thomas up. And as we can see there, Marcel has actually made gains on Thomas now. So it wasn't quite the lap counter said. It was a lot less than that. But if he's doing 123s, he's really pulling him in there. So he'll just breeze past him here. As you can see there, Thomas put his indicator on to let him know to pass, to make that pass easy for him. Going on down the list, we have Christian. So he's going to be the next one being caught up by Marcel. He's got a gap. He's got damage to that car as well, I think. Is it? Or is it just a pattern on the front? It looks like there was damage to it. I'm going to jump to Michael. It did show a gap there of another car, but you know, it was incorrect information it's giving me. Christian in the Nissan. He's had that car repaired. That's why his pit stop was long, because he had damage on the front of that car. So that now explains why his pit stop was longer than the others, because he had damage to repair. That clears that up a little bit. So we did confirm there was damage. I'm going to go back to Uwe and Roland. Oh. Uwe's passed him, and I didn't see that happen. And I don't know when that happened. All I can think of is Roland's made a mistake because he's really lost ground. I didn't see it, so I can't do a replay on it because I didn't know when it happened. But that's put Uwe in 4th place now. So all I can think of is that Roland's made a mistake and spun. Now there's no damage on his car. So whatever he's done, he's not hit anything. It may be T1, he's gone wide into the sand and he's still getting out of it. And that's allowed Uwe to pass him and then start running away a little bit. That's been the only pass. I did say something come up on the screen before, but I couldn't see what it was. It just literally flicked up and I didn't get a chance to respond to it. That's a bit of a shame. The next closest one, the track is too spread out, is Michael on Klaus. This gap is 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. I don't know if he's going to make any headway, because we did see that BMW was really, really good. All depends on how the tyres are going to last. We've got 18 minutes to go. And as it stands at the moment, the podium is Marcel, Klaus, Michael. Marcel currently holds the fastest lap time with a 1:23.097. That gap is increasing, so Klaus is pulling away as it stands. Now Roland is gaining on Uwe, believe it or not. Even after he's off, he's pulled the gap down a little bit and he's down to 3 seconds. He was 7 seconds. So interesting there. The last lap Uwe was quicker. So maybe Uwe's had a bit of a problem as well in one of the laps. You can still see the car is squirming a little bit under power. So I'm wondering whether he's just over-rotated. I'm trying to work out if the front of that car's got any marks on it. The grille at the bottom looks like it's got marks, but no, I think it's okay. Wondering whether it hit something. No, that looks okay. There's no damage to that car as it stands. Let's just go to Roland's. Yeah, we could have already looked at this one from when we thought he'd gone off. There's definitely no damage on that one at all. Now, Uwe did make a mistake. He lost 3 seconds. His last lap was a 1:28.7 and Roland's was a 1:25. So that's why he's pulled back that gap. So Uwe has also had a bit of an off somewhere and had to recover it. So I think the battle's going to be between these two of what's going on track at the moment. The gap is very slowly coming down. It's 2.5 seconds now. It was 3. So I don't know whether Uwe's got a problem. He wants to try and stay off the grass though there. But you can see now he's visually catching the car in front. And to make matters worse, they're catching back markers. So Uwe is not far off catching Christian. Now this could play a part in it here. And you can see he's sliding the car around the corner. So Christian's definitely got damage on the front of his car because the bonnet looks a slightly bit raised. So let's see what the lap times are. So Roland is still slightly quicker, albeit it's gone a bit more even now, but I still think there's a part to play here with Christian. Christian just moves out of the way, it will massively help Uwe. But if Uwe catches him in an area where it's very difficult to get out of the way, it's going to allow Roland to gain even further. There's literally not much in them at the moment in relation to the gap. So let's see what the gap is. Let's see what the lap times are after this lap. You can see now he's getting blue flags. Uwe's lap was a 1:25 flat, and Roland's was a 1:25.1. But Uwe is keeping him at bay at the moment, so it's still going to be a battle. And there you can see Uwe's been let through, and we'd expect the same for Roland. He gave a lot of space there, did Christian? Nice to see that. And Roland looks like he's starting to lose ground a little bit. The gap is now up to 2.8 seconds. So Uwe can probably breathe a sigh of relief. Now Michael isn't making much headway against Klaus. The gap is 3.5 seconds. 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds. But it's not growing. And the last lap times, Klaus was a 1:24.7 and Michael's was a 1:24.8. So again, there's nothing in the lap times at all in relation to them racing. So it's not really going to make much of an impact there. The gaps we've got, you're talking a 10th here and a 10th there. That's not enough to do a pass with 13 minutes to go. Klaus is also catching up now though to Christian. Let's sit on board with Klaus. And you can see Christian in the distance just going around the left-hander. And at some point we'll see Klaus catch him up. This could give Michael a bit of a go at it. I doubt it, but it could. Nice and easy around there. Yeah, he's pulling that gap to Christian very, very quickly actually. I think he'll be on Christian in a couple of laps easily. You can see he's taking chunks of time out, and then he'll be on Thomas very, very soon as well. You can see Thomas is just in front. The gap's now down to 2 seconds in front. The gap behind is under 3 seconds. Bit of a delay there, bit of a twitch from Klaus. That's allowed Michael to pull in a couple of tenths there actually. With that little bit of a twitch. The two guys in front are going to be battling a little bit. We've got a car off there. What happened then? Was it Nils? Yeah. He's just lost it in the bend. He's gone to the pits. I think that's my car actually. Let's go back to Klaus. Klaus is still trying to gain. He's down to 1.2 seconds behind Christian. Michael is down to 2.5 seconds. So Michael's pulled another couple of tenths back. But Michael has got Nils between him and himself and Klaus. There you go, blue flags are out now. We're going to see the Nissan passed. And we're probably going to see the Audi passed as well. There's a difference in braking points there. Yeah, so that's one done. And Christian's pitting. No, he's not. He must have gone into the pit lane and come back out again. That's why it's done what it's done there. It said he was pitting because he must have hit the pit lane. So he's not pitting at all. He's come straight back out. He's catching Thomas up here. Michael is now ready to catch and pass the Lambo and lap the Lambo of Nils. Again, blue flags. which you'd expect. Klaus has now passed Thomas. He's losing ground, Michael. Now he's starting to lose ground a little bit. The gains he had, he's now lost. He's caught this Lamborghini up at the worst possible point. This sector here is where you really don't need anyone in front if you're... he's gone wide. Doesn't want to over-rotate it. Oh, thought he was going to over-rotate, spin back across, but he didn't. So he can get his foot down now and start chasing Klaus again. He's still got to get past Thomas, who's in front of him. Got 9 minutes to go. He's definitely not giving up. Yeah, he's not. He's really struggling now, trying to catch Klaus. Klaus is disappearing. We've got the Audi there going very, very wide, and he's allowed him past. So Michael can now start chasing down Klaus, but the gap's 4 seconds. Klaus has disappeared into the distance. And Martin's still by himself. Not much going on with Martin. Let's have a rundown. We've got Marcel still in the lead. Is the gap from Marcel to P2 is over 20 seconds. Second place we've got Klaus. Got Michael. And we've got Roland. So Roland's past Uwe again. Again, I'd not seen that coming up. I think I've had a blip in my software actually. Stopped updating. I probably didn't see it. Put it back up now. We've got Uwe, who's quite a bit gap behind now, so 8 seconds. So Uwe's definitely gone off somewhere. Again, my apologies for missing that. I didn't see anything happen. Nils looks like he's just past Christian. Martin is behind Nils in P7 up midfield. A Bailey liveried Ferrari. Thomas in the Soul Audi. He's actually being chased down by the Lamborghini. We saw the Lamborghini go off before, and we saw the pass happen. So I wonder if the Lamborghini is going to have the pace to catch Thomas. Whoa, that's a bit of a big slide there. That's going to allow the Lamborghini to really home in on him now. I think we've got a bit of a battle going on. 6 minutes to go. Oh, the lap times are very similar, I have to say. Half a second quicker Thomas was on the last lap. I think this lap will be different because of the off. That's not going to help him. Just going onto the grass a touch. So their last laps, Thomas was a 126, Nils was a 127. So Thomas was half a second quicker even with that mistake, because equally Nils made a mistake as well, and that allowed him to lose a bit of ground. 4 minutes to go. Good exit here. He's looks like this is a better lap for Nils. The gap is coming down. Has he got enough time? 4 minutes. He's going to have another 2 laps at it, I think. Possibly 3. It's a push. All depends where Marcel is. Who's done the fastest lap this time? I think Nils has done quite a decent lap, but again, I'm not 100% certain that's the case. Thomas did a 126.1. Nils did a 126.4. So it looks like Thomas is holding him at bay. Yeah, the gap's definitely increasing. He's definitely losing time here because Nils is catching Uwe. You can just see Uwe in the distance there. So it looks like, what's Uwe's lap time? It's 125.4. He's not doing too bad. He's half a second quicker than Roland, but the gap between him and Roland is quite big. There's going to be no impact there at all. And we're down to 3 minutes now. The final countdown is occurring. Yeah, Marius, the Audi, yeah, can be a challenge if you're new to it. To be honest, it can be very, very twitchy. The brakes aren't as good as some of the other cars in it as well. So yeah, it's he's definitely fighting a demon there in the Audi. See these lap times, Uwe and Nils. We've got 2 minutes to go. So what's Uwe doing? Is he still in the 125s? Uwe's done a 125.8. Nils has done a 125 flat. 8/10 quicker. Bet he wishes he had a few more laps. Oh, he's gone wide there a touch because he's really putting the anchor, the pedal to the metal here. Looks like Uwe's got the anchors on. In fact, that's Nils' fastest lap. Save the best till last. Right, let's go to the front. Let's watch our race leader finish the final lap. He'll have one more lap to do after this. And that'll be Marcel annihilating the field again. Looks like he's gaining on Martin Bailey there. Don't know if he'll catch him in time. Probably wouldn't bother, to be honest, if you'd got one lap to go. Just ease off and enjoy the end of the race, wouldn't you? Rather than trying to risk it for a biscuit. There we go. He's going to finish that lap, and this will be the final lap. Martin's letting him go. He's not getting in the way. So, one more lap. Got the white flag out. His fastest lap was a 1:23 flat, or 0.097 if you want to be accurate. It looks like we're going to see a podium of Marcel, Klaus and Michael. Thomas has parked up in turn 7. Has he? Nope, he's still going. Maybe he's had a bit of an off. He's still running. There we go. Marcel will win. Second place will be Klaus. Yeah, he might have gone off track and was getting going again. Klaus is coming round to finish now. Great result for the BMW here. Klaus finishes in second place. Followed closely by Michael, and that will be our podium. Martin's already gone into pits. Roland's going round to finish in 4th place. He managed to ward off Uwe there. Then Uwe going round to finish 5th. Nils has parked up. Thomas has run out of fuel. I think that looks like fuel. Lack of to me. Yeah. And that's it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back next week for the next race. Details will be posted as soon as they're available. And I've got the stream ready. As I said, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. It does help me a little bit. And hopefully you've enjoyed the race. If there's any feedback you want to give me, sound levels, whatever, please feel free to provide that. But as I said, thanks very much. And thanks for watching. You're welcome, Marius. Thank you.